Welcome back friends, I am Dr. Akash Pawar and you are watching my YouTube channel Study Made Easy. In today's video we will discuss about the gynecology, where we are going to discuss about the introduction about the internal genital organs of female. Internal genital organs of female contains vagina, uterus, fallopian tubes and ovaries. Now we will see about the vagina. Vagina is a fibromusculomembranous sheet which communicates the uterus exteriorly at the vulva, and it is going to act as a channel where it excretes the uterine secretions as well as the menstrual blood flow. Also it is an organ of copulation. Vagina is having very distensibility, and because of this distensibility the head and shoulder of the baby are going to be delivered. The walls of vagina, there are the four walls of vagina: anterior, posterior and two laterals. Out of these, the anterior vaginal wall is shorter than that of the posterior vaginal wall, and the length of anterior vaginal wall is near about 7 cm, while the posterior vaginal wall measures near about 9 cm. And because of the protrusion of cervix into the vagina, there is a formation of a groove in between the vaginal wall and the cervix, and this groove is called as fornix. You can see in this diagram, these are the grooves. See, suppose this is a vaginal wall and the part of cervix is protruding like this, and there is a groove in between the cervix as well as the in between the cervix. Suppose this is a cervix and this is a vaginal wall, and there is a groove in between the vaginal wall and the cervix, and these grooves are called as fornixes. So there are the total 4 fornix: anterior, posterior and two lateral. Out of these, the posterior fornix is quite deeper than that of the anterior fornix. Why? The reason is same, that posterior vaginal wall is little bit more than that of the anterior vaginal wall. Now if you see the diagram carefully, then you can see the relations of vagina with the pelvic organs. Anterior vaginal wall is in relation with the urinary bladder and urethra, where the upper 1/3 of anterior vaginal wall is related with the urinary bladder, while the lower 2/3 part of anterior vaginal wall is in relation with the urethra. Along with that, the posterior vaginal wall is in relation with pouch of Douglas. This is the upper 1/3. Middle 1/3 of posterior vaginal wall is in relation with the rectum, where lower 1/3 of the posterior vaginal wall is separated from the anal canal by the perineal body. Now what I want to highlight here, in case of genital prolapse, when there is a prolapse of urinary bladder, at that time it is going to prolapse into the anterior vaginal wall, upper 1/3 of anterior vaginal wall. And in case of urethrocoel, there is a prolapse of urethra in the lower 2/3 of anterior vaginal wall. Also the fistulas are going to open into the upper 1/3 and lower 2/3 respectively. Along with that, the posterior vaginal wall, the pouch of Douglas descend into the upper 1/3 of posterior vaginal wall, where the content of pouch of Douglas are loops of small intestine. Now we will discuss about the structures of vagina, where the vagina from inner to the outward side, it is having a mucosal coat, submucosal coat, muscular coat and the serous coat. Out of these, the mucosal coat is formed by the squamous stratified epithelial cells. Now the thing is that actually our skin epithelial cells are also belongs to the stratified squamous epithelial cells, but there is a difference. What difference? Our skin contains the hair follicles, sweat glands as well as the sebaceous glands, while the vaginal epithelial cells, those squamous epithelial cells, don't having sebaceous glands, sweat glands as well as they are not having the hair follicles. Now thing is that from the birth of a female baby up to the 14 days, there is a presence of a thick layer of squamous epithelial cells because of the influence of maternal estrogen. But after 14th day of birth to the pre-puberty stage, these cells becomes very thin, and again during the reproductive age of a female, that means after puberty to the menopause, these cells are under influence of estrogen, and here during reproductive age, under the influence of estrogen, there is a production of glycogen, and this glycogen gets converted into the lactic acid. because of presence of the Dodderlin's bacilli. These Dodderlin bacilli are present when there is a influence of estrogen, where these bacilli are going to convert the glycogen into the lactic acid, and because of that the pH of vagina is near about 4.5. that means it is acidic, and this acidic media is going to inhibit the pathogens. Now we will discuss about the uterus, where uterus is a pyriform structure. In front of uterus there is a presence of, anteriorly there is a presence of urinary bladder, and posteriorly rectum. The measurement of uterus is 7.5 centimeter by 5 centimeter by 2.5, while the shape of uterus is a pyriform. The parts of uterus are body, cervix and isthmus. Out of that, body is again divided into the two parts. First one is a fundus, and second, this triangular part is called as body, where the fundus is a part which lies above the opening of fallopian tubes. That means this portion of uterus is called as fundus, while this triangular portion of a uterus is called as body, where the body starts from the opening of the fallopian tubes and ends up to the isthmus. And this isthmus is a very narrow and constricted part of uterus, where isthmus starts from the anatomical internal os and extends up to the histological internal os. The normal position of uterus is a antiflex or antiverted, while the weight of uterus is near about 50 to 80 grams. The layers of uterus from outside to the inwards are the perimetrium, myometrium and endometrium, out of which perimetrium is a serous coat, myometrium is a muscular part of a uterus which are having the smooth muscles, and endometrium is a mucosal part of a mucosal part of a uterus, where the perimetrium is a serous coat, myometrium, these are the smooth muscles of uterus, where during pregnancy we can see the different layers of myometrium. The outermost is a longitudinal muscles, the middle one are the interlaceting muscle fibers, and while the internal fibers of a myometrium are the circular type of smooth muscles. Now the endometrium of a uterus is going to be shed during the menses. This endometrium is a mucosal part. Endometrium opposes to the myometrium, that means it does not having any submucosal layer, and these endometrium cells are epithelial cells. These are the ciliated columnar epithelial cells as well as the non-ciliated epithelial cells which secretes the mucus. The total length of uterus including the cervix is near about 6 to 7 centimeters. Now we will discuss about the cervix. Cervix is a part of uterus which communicates with vagina, and cervix is divided into the two types, endocervix and the ectocervix. The endocervix is also called as supravaginal part of a cervix, and the ectocervix is also called as vaginal cervix, because the cervix which present inside the vagina, it is called as ectocervix or the vaginal cervix, and the part of cervix which is lying above the vagina, this part is called as endocervix or the supravaginal cervix. Now the thing is that the ectocervix, the epithelial cells of ectocervix are again stratified. Why? Because vaginal epithelial cells are the stratified epithelial cells. So the cells of ectocervix are stratified squamous epithelial cells, while the endocervix cells of endocervix are the columnar epithelial cells. and this part of uterus is called as portio vaginalis. Why? Because here the stratified cells are get converted into the columnar cells, and there is a communication in between these two type of cells, and this communication zone is called as transitional zone, and this transitional zone is going to expose the various type of pathological conditions, and it is because of the hormonal changes this part is going to get injured, and also because of the trauma and the inflammation and infection this part is more prone to produce the dysplasia. Also this is the area which is going to show the dysplastic changes. Also this is the area which is going to show the carcinoma in situ as well as the CA cervix. Now the thing is that the cervical mucosal cells which are present in the cervix, this part is called as cervix, and these epithelial cells are going to release the mucus, and under the influence of progesterone they form the thick mucosal coats, and they close the mouth of cervix, that means the external os, in order that the sperms cannot enter into the uterine cavity. So under the influence of estrogen, cervical secretions is going to produce the glycoproteins, and these glycoproteins are going to ascend the sperm in order to get fertilization. Now one more thing, the cervical secretions are in a alkaline nature, and these cervical secretions are having bacteriostatic property. Because of that, it inhibits the infection. Now we will discuss about the fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes are the tubes which are present bilaterally, and they are having the two types of ends. The first one is a uterine end, and second one is a femoral end or the ovarian end, where there is a 4 parts of fallopian tube. This one is a interstitial, which is present inside the uterine body. This one is a isthmus, this part is a straight one. This is a ampulla, and this part is called as infundibulum. Where the infundibulum are having the finger-like projections, they are called as fimbria, and out of them one fimbria is going to communicate with the ovary, and this fimbria is called as ovarian fimbria. These fimbria are going to catch the ovum, and they will transport the ovum towards the uterine cavity. The length of fallopian tube is near about 10 centimeter. And now we will discuss about the ovary. Ovary are the almond shaped organs which are present bilaterally, and they are in relation with the production, maturation and release of ovum, and also it is in relation with the steroidogenesis, where the ovary is again divided into the cortex and medulla, where cortex is having a epithelial cell lining, and it is having a different types of follicles which are starting from the primordial follicles, primary follicles, graphene follicles and corpus luteum, while the medulla of the ovary contains the connective smooth muscles as well as the blood vessels. And this ovary is having two parts, uterine and tubular, where the weight of ovary is near about 4 to 8 grams. The surface of ovary is irregular and little bit it is having the scars due to the ovulation. So dear friends, this is everything about the introductory part of internal female genital organs. If you are new to my channel, then please subscribe it, and also please press the bell icon so that you will get the latest notification regarding my video. Thank you very much.